All right, let's do it. Last match of the day. Can Northern Gaming join that party at the 4-1 top of the European region? We're about to find out. It's Kaunos versus Northern Gaming. Let's go over to the commentary desk with Leaf and Shogun.
That's a good question, Axeltas. Can they do it? As I said, there are 4 teams now vying for this. Something I was trying to say before I forgot how to word. And Kaunos, this is actually a fun team to watch. At this point, as I mentioned, kind of out of luck here at this point in the league play. But I love watching them. They have some really great plays, and Niels Cook is a great player on the offense to watch. He just has this drive behind him. And at this point, they're just there to upset. Can they upset Northern Gaming, though? Because they're looking pretty good these last couple of weeks.
I mean, Kaunos is one of those teams of never should be written out. We see them during weekly tournaments. They're a team that can go ahead and beat teams like Flipside. So Northern Gaming, pretty much on the exact same level as that. Expect to see the combination of Zenzus and Niels Cook coming out big for this team, because that is the duo that really comes out. Dan Hizzle is kind of taking up that ever more regular role that we're starting to see now of just filling in the gaps, making sure no real mistakes are being made across the field. And if they can pull that off correct, they've got every shot of winning this.
You're right, and we talk about how close the EU region is, and honestly, NA proved that the other day too, how close EU region is, and hopefully we'll get to see that out of Kaunos today, as they drop down, trying to just take a little bit away from Northern Gaming, as Northern Gaming is trying for that 4-way tie, trying to get 4-1 in league play. See if Kaunos can disrupt that. I'd like to hear their comms. I feel like they're going to have a lot of fun with this game.
Yeah, we know for a fact that Dan Hizzle and the rest of his team, they don't really talk to each other all that much. And that's going to be a lot of demos coming through there, and Zenzus has to play that way.
Yep. I mean, look at already off the bat. They're just going for the disruption, trying to just completely take Northern Gaming off the field here. And almost resulting in a goal. They did quickly transition down on offense for about a second. Didn't really pull anything out of that one, though. And there's some retaliation from Devo, as Dan was going around before and just pummeling people in the face. See if that continues throughout the series. A minute in, neither team really found their footing yet. Just trying to find where each other stands on the field. With the Remco and Devo backing off from that, Maestro will move in instead. Kaunos has to find a breakout chance here. Niels Cook stuck on the post here, finally regains his footing. Gets back on the ground for a save. Remco trying for the follow-up. The read off of Dan won't happen. Maestro, can he get a second touch in front of the net? Scary spot for Kaunos. They do manage to keep it together, though.
Yeah, but Kaunos are getting stuck into that defensive position, and Remco and Maestro, whilst they don't have to do it as much anymore, they know how to play that siege game. They did it better than anyone else back when they were teamed up with Greasy Meister. So Kaunos, they need to avoid being stuck into that final third, because this is a team that knows how to boost steal and suck you out of the game.
A minute and a half has passed so far. 0 goals have happened as yet. Remco's trying to get a play, but his teammates will stay back for the game. And just playing it a little cautiously right now, trying to figure out what Kaunos is up to. Dan was up to an air dribble there as he tried to throw one towards the net, even just creating a little bit of pressure for his team. There's Niels Cook turning around quickly just to get a contest. Find his 2 teammates some time to get boosted up there. There's a chance, though, for Devo up off the backboard. Niels Cook does get to that before any of the offense from Northern Gaming. They'll have to back off and try again from their own end, as Kaunos is just looking for anything, but still playing fairly safe, always having that one person back, never committing too much to it.
Yeah, and the fact that we've not really had much going on here just kind of speaks to how good the rotation and positioning has been from both these teams to start off here. They are trying to prod, take advantage if you can, but don't do anything stupid, and that is pretty much the bread and butter for both of these teams in this first game.
Now I think we're even for the demos. Devo getting that second retaliation on Dan, pulling him out of the play, but it didn't really result in much for Northern Gaming. They weren't able to get a play started up. Devo with a long shot to the far side. What a boomer, almost finding the top corner. Remco might be able to finish that on to Maestro. I totally thought that was going to work. That was so close.
Yeah, and they had more time than they actually thought. There was no challenge onto it, so if they just left it a little while and let the ball creep across the goal face, they could have easily just tapped it in from there, but attempt to speed that one in results in no goal there, even though Northern Gaming should be 1 goal up.
Remco steals that one away from Niels Cook as they move back down towards Kaunos' end. Almost a full game gone by. We only have a minute 30 left and still 0-0. Northern Gaming did come off a win there. They should be feeling good, but Kaunos is holding up very well. And we talk about mentality, and I think that's what Kaunos has on their side at this point.
Yeah, Kaunos as though has really turtled up in this game. They have been completely prioritizing defense. I don't know if it's through choice or through the fact that they are just being stuck in this final third. That should be finished off right there, and Devo, finally they get that goal, their thoroughly deserved goal.
No, you're absolutely right. That last defender got a little too ambitious there. Zensis should have seen his teammate coming aside for that flank touch. Always prioritize that flank touch, and he didn't. Should have waited in net, and it gave Devo just an open shot. He could put it wherever he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, across the board here, Kaunos have got themselves a hold of 7 saves already. They've just been stuck there. They've only forced 1 save out of Northern Gaming. It's just that inability, this midfield control that you see coming up from Northern Gaming. They do it by stealing the boost and making sure that their challenges to whoever's coming forward is always so strong.
That's an open spot there for Remco. He is going to slam that one away 2 times now. Kaunos has left that net open.
Yeah, look at this. Devo's taking control of this ball. Niels Cook feels like he has to go for it. And then immediately, as soon as Devo's done there, he has not stopped working. He moves onto the wall and blocks the potential defender. It's that ability to look around the map and just go, I'm not done here. There is still work that I can do.
With 1 minute left, Northern Gaming quickly grabs the lead. We spent about 3.5 minutes completely scoreless between these 2 teams. Now Northern Gaming's like, all right, I'm over this. Let's take the win. Move into this next one with a point. 40 seconds left for Kaunos to be able to answer both of those goals. Their chance might be right here. Cook is going to be a little bit patient, no pressure there. We'll give Remco the chance to move this out. Now, all they have to do now is hold off for 30 seconds without allowing 2 goals to go in, that 1-goal cushion. Devo, though, is going to make that a 2-goal cushion. Remco almost getting the touch. The defender getting there just in time. Not enough power off the backside of Remco.
Yeah, that's going to be the 4th save right there for Dan's Hizzle. It doesn't really matter for too much. The only unfortunate thing coming out here is that only Niels Cook is going to end this match without a savior medal. But 8 shots coming out from Remco, 6 shots coming out from Devo. This match was completely dominated by Northern Gaming.
I'd say it was more so, I mean, you're right. Overall, they look the most comfortable. But, I mean, Kaunos held off pretty well.
They held off.
100 million saves. That's a lot of saves.
They held off, but they created nothing at all that entire game. They had 1 shot, and it was kind of like trying to hope for a mistake from the defender sort of situation. They need to try and pull this one out. It's, like I said, this is a case of, this is the old Northern Gaming style. They put you into a corner, they put you into your final third, and they just take. They take your boost, they look for the backboard, and eventually, if the ball keeps going off the backboard and you haven't got boost, you're not going to get to it. They are going to get to it.
Now, for Kaunos, though, how do you get out of that? Like, if you're stuck in a spot where they're on a good boost starvation rotation, and they're not allowing you to break out of your end. You have no boost to be able to clear it hard. What do? What are your options at that point?
One of the main strategies for it was either A, go for a long clearance, but you've got to really loft that ball towards the ceiling, or B, get the demo. Because the entirety of this pressuring style completely requires perfect rotations from Northern Gaming. If you take a player out of it, they have to suddenly send 1 player towards the ball, and another player comes straight back into defense.
And that's so difficult to do in the moment, like say, okay, this is the change we need to make, guys, let's work together for this goal. And that may be something into this next game that they're hopefully going to have in their minds.
Oh yeah, it's really easy for me to just say out loud, but there was a reason why they were the top team for so long using that style of gameplay.
Yep, because it's so hard to combat. Well, we'll see if Kaunos can combat that. Coming into game number 2, Northern Gaming took the first one. Game number 2 out of his best of 5. Off the bat, no quick goals. See if Kaunos can grab one here. They're right in position, ready to do it. I think Zensus might be a little bit too far forward. He is. Remco will steal that away, and a quick turnaround by Northern Gaming. They saw that hole, that opportunity, and they took it fast.
Yeah, they kept the hold of the ball immediately from the kickoff, and they did not give it up at all. That using that side of the wall, passing it straight out. It's not in a position for the defenders to move forward at all. And Northern Gaming, this positioning right now is as fluid and as sweet as I've seen it this entire season. This looks like a team that is finally gelling with their new teammate.
30 seconds have passed so far, and Northern Gaming already sits up 1 goal in this game against Kaunos. Northern Gaming is looking to tie amongst 3 other teams for first place here, for those top 4 spots. Coming into week number 5, Remco didn't even have to touch that other one. What is going on, Kaunos?
Well, Niels Cook gets himself on the wall and just feels like he has to stay there. And he comes straight down on it, and we see Dan's Hizzle with a miss as well. That is just all around mechanical and tactical misplays from Kaunos. And they've put themselves down even further against a team that is not known for giving up leads.
Remco to Maestro as they set up another play. There's Devo third in. He knew exactly where that was going and where he was putting that one. Oh, but a miss from Maestro. Maybe expected a touch from the defense. There's no one home. Zensu's forced up to that one. These guys have to be a little more careful on defense. Throwing themselves out of position. Look, they're moving up so quickly, eager to get that counterattack happening when they don't have possession.
But it's every time they try and clear it, they've got a player right there. You can almost see it as you look around. That's going to be a poor save there as Dan gets himself the save, but it's got to be cleared away. And finally, they've got it into their opponent's half. Can
they do anything with it, though, is the question. As look at that quickly, Devo with a 50-50 at midfield puts that right back the other way. And almost a goal. Niels Cook, at least respecting that Northern Gaming knows how to counterattack like that, gets back in time to make that save. But it's not over yet. 3 minutes left in this match. Northern Gaming sits up 2 goals. Quickly looking like they're about to take a third one.
You see, the way this looks to me right now is Devo usually plays in a certain way where you have to sort of feed it towards him. That's not the way they're playing this right now. It doesn't look to me like Remco and Maestro have adapted to Devo. It looks like Devo has adapted to that duo.
Niels Cook by himself trying to get a mind game. Does what? How did that? Somehow gets that off the backside of Maestro.
That is so beautiful right there. Niels Cook gets a hold of it, and he fakes it out right there. Maestro pre-jumps the ball. Tries to get himself up there, and that allows Niels Cook, as soon as he sees that jump, he can put that ball wherever he wants. Because he's already waited that second and a half. No second jump can come out from Maestro, and that puts them back in it.
And insult to injury, he puts it off of Maestro, getting them a goal. And as you said, back in this game now, with 2.5 minutes approaching. I think 1 goal left to tie this one up. Kaunos just needs some more plays like that, but getting dunked out by Devo. He's got a teammate with him, Remco there. Smart play from Dan as he gets that to the side. As Niels Cook respawns there, he's able to send them with the Zensus. They move down the field. He's ready for a shot. All 3 of them right on the box, though. Got to be careful about committing too much. Thankfully, they did back off. Maestro takes control. Now you see all 3 of Northern Gaming ready for that push back down into the blue end, and they do so. Not efficiently, though. They lose control and can't get a goal out of it. To try one more time right here. Remco off the backboard. Just gets that one stolen away by Kaunos. Kaunos now has 2 minutes left to answer back 1 goal to tie this.
And across 2 games, we've already seen 4 savior medals coming out by Kaunos. Dan Hizzle is the only player on his team without one so far. He is currently on 1 save. This just speaks volumes about the pressure coming out from Northern Gaming. Yes, it's 2-1 right now, but honestly, unless Kaunos can catch them on the breakaway, it doesn't look like it's going to change.
Oh, good dunk there. Not a second one. The second one might have been what they needed to get that opportunity, but they got to quickly turn this one around back to defense. Stop there, but Zensus gives away possession fairly quickly. Remco, nice read off that corner wall, takes that one away. Not the best touch from Dan. Thankfully, a teammate's there to help him out. Zensus to the far side. Has to take control of this, has to be able to get a pass out, but instead he just gives it away again.
And look
that
at the
might
speed.
Be a turnaround, and Remco quickly answers that attack with a goal of their own.
Yep, take a look at this. Kaunos just pushed themselves too far forward. Dan Hizzle is completely out of position on that. He is not going to be able to achieve anything unless a very specific set of things happen where he can attack the ball. Doesn't end up doing it. The ball's played up high. He can't react to it and immediately countered.
1 minute left now. Northern Gaming, once again, looking to grab that 4-1 on the leaderboards in the league rankings, tie themselves with 3 other teams. By what they've shown so far, I'm fairly confident they'll be able to take this in potentially a 3-game here, unless Kaunos can push something up.
Tried too hard to try and control the ball, could have just launched it any second and the defender would never have caught up, but just couldn't quite get the correct possession onto the ball. And Kaunos still find themselves 2 goals down. 1
defender left, a 3-on-1 scary spot. Niels Cook couldn't get that second touch off the wall. They're still stuck on their own end. A lot of their horizontal positioning is the thing that seems really weird, committing to things they don't have yet, but they do have that one. Dan's gonna drop one in. 1 goal away with 9 seconds. possible, but
it is possible. Like immediately after kickoff, that's where the rotation for Kaunos is not happening. I mean, the rotation for Northern Gaming is not happening. That is the best and first bit of team play we've actually seen right there out of Kaunos, and it worked wonders.
Well, we'll see it. 8 seconds, counting down now. Control there from Niels Cook. Kaunos gets it in front. Dan just a little too eager on that jump. That probably actually could have been a goal, but he gets a little bit too ahead of it. And Northern Gaming will take game number 2 as well.
Yeah, Dan just needed to wait a little second there. I mean, I understand it's 0 seconds. You don't even want it to even touch the floor, so he's not entirely sure where the ball is going to go. But that was a much better game there from Kaunos. Look at the shots they took. More than one. That's good.
You're right. That is more than one.
That is indeed more than one.
And you're right. Honestly, they kept this one a little bit closer. Is it going to be enough? Who knows? Coming in this one, it still looked like Northern Gaming was the most comfortable on the field. They had the most cohesive plays coming out.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, a lot of those shots kind of came in within a couple of seconds, but you'll see right there, Kaunos are growing into this. Northern Gaming, if you're Northern Gaming right now, you want to finish this right now. You don't even want the stress of seeing whether or not Kaunos can bring themselves back into this and really start pushing it forward, because once those team plays get going, and that is Kaunos' main strength, once Dan comes in and really becomes that disruptor for the team, Northern Gaming might have to start getting worried on that. So, honestly, that needs to be stopped right now. Northern Gaming should probably aim for the sweep here.
Well, I mean, we've talked about complacency before, and we've seen it in action in RLCS too. When a team just is so confident that they're going to have something, they kind of stop focusing on it.
It happened yesterday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that could happen in Northern Gaming as long as they maintain their focus here. I mean, they've already gone through a series before this, and that is draining mentally. You know, this could be nearing the end of their focus. As long as they maintain it. Just one more game, though, they should have this one in the bag and be able to pull away with a tie for that 4-1 in the league. Kaunos, though, trying to disrupt that off the bat, sending 2 people in. Dan will wait back, trying to get a clear himself. Remco is able to get a touch. Rough spot there. Oh, but Maestro steals it away from Devo. Devo might have had an opportunity to score, but lack of communication there will kill that play. And Kaunos will try to move it the other way if they can regain possession of this ball.
Oh, I don't like leaving that ball, though, off the wall. Allowed the shot to come in. Thankfully, Devo was actually on the goal line, and Northern Gaming can continue to push up. But you don't want to be giving a team like Kaunos, especially a team that's got Niels Cook, one of the best striking players in the league, on their side.
1 minute surpassed so far. Northern Gaming sits up 2-0 in this best of 5 against Kaunos as they struggle to keep that shot out, almost going in for Northern Gaming. Remco and Maestro have another chance here. Maestro backs off, seeing that Dan was ready for that contest. Off the backboard, Devo ready to put a touch in, just missing that one, misreading that corner touch off the roof. And Remco will be forced back to defense there as Kaunos kind of half attempted to create an attack. Fizzled out quickly though, resulted in not much. That could be a chance though, just past the defender, but also past the net. And a miss there for Kaunos. They're still holding off 0-0, but we've seen them do this before, still end up conceding the game.
Yeah, but Kaunos always put 3 players on that goal line. They need to be really worried about those double commits, because every single player, you don't have enough time to really communicate who's going for it. So they need to make sure that that is cleaned up. In offense, I really like Kaunos right now, but because they're spending so much time on the back foot, that is what might cost them this game.
Maestro up in the air, just short of that 50-50 from Niels. Remco will take control on the ground. Some midfield contesting here coming from Kaunos as they try to attempt to put something the other way, but they kind of lose control of their position, and Maestro's going to find a hole. Yeah,
this is very old school. Remco's trying to chase down Niels Cook, and then Devo takes it just over the top. It's a very old school way of playing. Just keep beating individual players to the ball via speed until there is no one left in goal. Northern Gaming just did it right there, and they are in the lead in a game. Oh, fake kickoff, please.
Almost. They do lose control. Kaunos will try to set something up, but just gives away the possession once again, and Northern Gaming almost capitalized on that one as well. Ooh, they're all pushed forward, though. I don't think Niels is going to be able to get anything out of that. Faked out Maestro will send him flying into the corner. Devo tries to breathe that touch off of Zensus, but he'll back off to his own end instead. Remco with a chance, pass 2, puts one off the backboard, takes out Dan, and Maestro is gonna put one in. What an incredible play from Remco.
Who do you think you are? This is Remco's field, and he will own it. Annihilates Dan, removes him from the play, and Maestro makes it 2.
Get the hay out of here, says Remco. What a follow through. Plays the body instead of the ball after sending a pass out to a teammate. Incredible play from him. 2 minutes left. Northern Gaming looks to have control of this field.
They certainly do. Now we're going to look at Kaunos. They have to start pushing themselves forward. They will not want to just give this one straight up, so expect us to finally see a large test on the Northern Gaming defense.
There's a rough spot here. Zensus misses that one, but so does the attacker, Devo. Maestro just sitting there like a brick wall. Stops 2 of them, but look at how closely together Kaunos is playing. It's not giving them a lot of room for error. Any kind of ball that reaches outside that circle just goes straight into the hands of Northern Gaming again. And sitting up 2-0 in the series with 2 goals up with 1:30 left, Northern Gaming is likely to have this one, but there's one answer at least from Zensus.
Yeah, it's that case of you need to try and clear it away properly. Devo tries to be a little bit cute with it, puts that one straight into the path of Dan. You know Dan is going to be really peeved after that previous boost and that bump onto him. So he decides to go full aggression onto that one, and who can blame him? 1:30 remaining, you might as well just go for it.
As you said, 1 goal down. Nothing left to lose here at all. Give it your all, but play it smart. You may as well try to chip away at Northern Gaming. That's motivation enough. What a save from Dan. As a shot comes in from Maestro. 1 minute mark is about to hit us here. That's a chance though, push through.
Okay.
All tied up. Zensus with a second one.
Yep, this is happening right now. Zensus, lovely flick over the top of that. Devo makes a huge mechanical mistake, and just the craziness and the cluster that ends up forming around that ball goes in the favor of Kaunos. And we've got 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining here. Kaunos have made the comeback work.
We'll see if they can continue that one on. As finally, I've said it like 3 times, but we now are really at that 1 minute mark.
It's because they keep scoring like really quickly after each other.
2 seconds before the minute mark. Come on, guys. Making me look bad. Although I do enough of that. Remco out to Devo. There's one on target. Maestro with a follow-up. Puts that one way wide. That'll give Kaunos another chance to regain possession here. Almost past Remco, but he does stuff that one out. They're spread out now. Kaunos is looking for those real plays. Now that they're all tied up, they don't have to force anything, but they can't give any kind of way for Northern Gaming to be able to push through. That's the tough balance they have to hold off here. Niels Cook puts himself in a rough spot as he almost went up for that one, even though Dan had the save. Now we see some pressure mounting for Northern Gaming. Those final 10 seconds start to count down. That's a rough spot. Zensus pushes it away. Remco almost gets the read off the front of that Dominus. Touch away from Zensus, buys them a little more time. As long as they can get this touch to the ground, they'll hit themselves with an overtime. Ooh, but Maestro gonna try this. Gets tripped up by Dan as they buy themselves an overtime. 1 goal will get Northern Gaming the win, and 1 goal will get Kaunos a game 4.
And Kaunos are starting to adapt their positioning. They're starting to recognize where Northern Gaming are coming from.
Ooh.
Northern Gaming, they need to finish this match off right now. Kaunos are growing into this.
Remco with a follow-up there. All out of boost, though. He won't be able to do much with this pass from Devo. No, he flies by that one. Big whiff there. Devo with another whiff will give Zensus a chance to move down. Almost had a 2-on-1 situation, but it will fizzle out now. Northern Gaming sends one down deep into Kaunos' end as they try to get something sighted up, ready to go. Look at Kaunos a little bit too close there. Niels Cook manages to get in the way of that flick from Devo. Zensus control, Niels Cook and Dan right behind him. There's Dan with the touch forward. It's going to loft a bit to the side of the net there. Remco will greet that one off the wall. Niels Cook up, as well as another teammate. Only one back now. Devo with a shot. Dan stops us at 1 minute now into overtime. There's a 50-50 to no one. Devo finally gets control. Remco will be a long clear here. There it is. Devo already up to get that one past the defenders, but sends it to the corner instead. Zensu's starting to look pretty strong with a lot of his reads off the wall, and it's helping them clear the ball, but they need to start creating scoring opportunities. Otherwise, Northern Game's going to start doing this, getting chances of their own.
Well, this could be an opportunity here played over to the side. This is the first time in a while, I think, for the entire overtime that we've seen them in the other side. Devo with the fake there.
But he's got a teammate. Remco will send one flying to the net. Zensa's good patience is able to read that play. Keep that one aside. Keep themselves alive as we approach 2 minutes now of overtime. In game number 3, Northern Gaming looking for that one single golden goal to tie them up.
Oh my!
That is a way to do it, Devo. I don't know why I would not expect you to do that, but holy smokes.
Devo with the double tap. Usually we see that coming off the crossbar. No, he decides to take that from almost as high as he possibly can off the backboard. Northern Gaming putting the exclamation point on this matchup. Europe now has 4 tie teams at 4 games and 1 loss.
That's ridiculous. What a way to finish that. I'm not over that yet. That was a ridiculous way to finish that.
Do not miss next week.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, it's going to be intense. Everything is going to be on the line. All the implications, all of those things that Gibbs deals with, all those playoff scenarios. He's going to be, yeah, I found that out too. There's sugar in these carrots. Sugar carrots. This is well, I'm just letting this happen. Well, yeah, this is great. I'm done with mine. But what an incredible play. That was worth the cheers for Devo. While I try to resuscitate this guy, we're going to go over to the desk.
I didn't know that. Wow. Thank you guys.
Shogun's the best.
And yeah, thanks Shogun. Is he okay?
He's probably dying.
Thank you, Shogun and Leaf. What a match there. Northern Gaming with a 3-0. At first we're like, all right, it's going to be very smooth. But then we got an overtime in game 3, which was fun. And then we got Devo going for crazy aerial to finish things out, which was fun. Overall, just a fun day, guys.
And we got to see Remco finally achieve the aerial snipe on a car. He almost had it in the last series. And this series, he actually performed it perfectly. And it was just fun series to watch for Northern Gaming. They basically were in control for most of it. Kaunos did put up some fights here or there, but overall, like, we kind of knew Northern Gaming was taking this one.
Yeah, I mean, Northern Gaming essentially gave us a precursor to next week. You know, they've got some big, everyone has big games next week with, what, a 3-way tie we have now?
4-way tie.
A 4-way tie we have. So, I mean, huge game for them. I think they were going to use this as a good way to try and go into next week with a good win, a 3-0. They got to work on their passing plays, work on a lot of good goals. I mean, Devo breaking out Season 2, you know, highlight reel plays. Just overall a really good showing from them.
And I have to say, Axel Toss called that shot.
I did.
As soon as he saw Devo go up, it's like, that's in.
You want to know why? I have some light analysis. Bear with me here. Okay.
Oh, no.
So he was in front of the goal, right? And then he went to the corner and he got the boost. And that's pretty important because that means Kaunos would not get the boost. Therefore, since he had the boost and they didn't have anything, they didn't really have a way to challenge it. So when I saw Devo go up, I'm like, probably going to score.
So if he's free to shoot, he's going to score those.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best at it.
He had the space required and he was able to execute. Really cool to see Devo do his thing. And again, congrats to Northern Gaming, 3-0. It's got to feel great, especially going into next week. We have all the 4-1s going against each other and we're going to find out how all of this is going to unfold. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you stay tuned to twitch.tv/Rocket League. But first, Player of the Week, Marky Duda.
Flipside coming up big this week with the 2-0, both them and Northern Gaming. We were wondering if the early season kind of slow start from them would continue. Nope, didn't happen to either team. Marky wasn't that great with all, like 6 goals, 8 assists was not a ton, but he was a rock for the team. He didn't really make the mistakes that we saw Cooks and Greasy making. He was just there for the consistent play, and he performed exceptionally well.
And we were a bit worried about Flipside. I mean, coming in, you and me had previous conversations like, are Flipside going to perform well? Will they get a top 2? Will they even make playoffs for a certain degree? Just the way they were performing. I mean, even just earlier today with the mishaps they were making, you never see Cooks here mess up. So seeing him off his game was really worrisome. But like you said, Marky Duda really there to make up for the mistakes, ground his team. They got the 2 victories today.
And Flipside, easy schedule next week compared to some of these other 4-1s. They do have to play Northern Gaming, who's also 4-1, but then they get Resonant, who's not looking too hot right now. So it's a little bit better than some of these other squads, which we'll talk about a little bit more during when we see the actual, tie break going on. But Flipside, they're in the spot that they wanted to be in. Of course, they'd rather be 5-0, but to be fair, like after that first loss against Leftovers, the reverse sweep, where They could have easily won that series. They could have been 5-0, but they're looking in a great spot, and Markey is a big reason for it. He's been performing all season long. He's the most consistent player right now on Flipside.
I mean, getting reverse sweeped, especially by a team that everyone suspected in the beginning to just be a whatever team, right? Yeah. I mean, they called themselves the leftovers. They kind of were trying to deceive everyone off the get-go. But to lose that right off the bat, like, that had to be tilting.
Yeah, and on that graphic too, by the way, at Flipside_Markey. Go tell him congrats on Twitter. Great job from Markey Duda this week. Also, it was a pleasure to be able to talk to him and get his insight on those matches. They got to be feeling good, as you guys mentioned, going into next week. That being said, let's take a look at the standings. This is what we're all paying attention to. Radically different, obviously, from when we started the day. This lineup, the way the day kind of ended, could have been predicted, but I don't know if anyone predicted the standings to look like this from the beginning of the season.
It's crazy. First, I'll go over just 6th and 7th. Resonant, they just have to get a win. If they get a win, they're in. Penta is out. So that's what they are trying to achieve. But then we're tied in first place with 4 teams, and GFE and Northern Gaming, they both play both their games against 4-1 teams, and one of those games is against each other. Then Flipside, they get Northern Gaming, and then of course they get Resonant, so easier schedule. And Leftovers, they get to play Mocket, so a little bit easier schedule there, while they also play Gale Force. So we have 3 games in a row next week where 4-1s battle it out. So that's gonna be a lot of fun because it's all gonna be decided within those 3 to 4 games, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
I can't wait. Twitch.tv/Rocket League, your source for that. You better be there next week. It's going to be amazing as we find out 2 teams from each region who's going to World Championships, 6 teams overall who are going to the regional playoffs, and we already know a couple of the teams that are out, but all the conclusions going to be made next week. But if you want something before then, we have something on Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific, right here. Twitch.tv/Rocket League. It's RLCS Overtime.
Yeah, so I'll be talking playoff scenarios for sure this week. So if all those 4-1 teams wind up going 1-1, which they probably will to make my head hurt, we'll have that scenario ready for you during RLCS Overtime, so you know how to follow along and see who gets what. So if you're a team of Flipside, your favorite team, you want to see how they clinch.
Gibbs has actually been like breaking his back to come up with all these. Like, he's been trying so hard to come up with it. He's like stressing out over here. He's getting sweatier than usual to try and make sure that he can get all these stats out.
I need a sugar rush like Shogun.
Yeah. So you definitely want to tune in to see all the work that he's put in to try to figure out who can make it and what all the scenarios are.
Yeah, next week it's all going to be real time in figuring out what's actually going to happen in these regions. It's going to be a ton of fun, but we have announced our World Championship venue and date. So write it down, book your tickets, come hang out with us and say hi. It's at the Wiltern here in Los Angeles from June 2nd to June 4th. It's not too far away. Really excited for that.
Now it's a 3-day event as well. 10 of the best teams in the entire world, all coming under one roof to play, and 3 days of Rocket League. You can't get better than that.
Yeah, I mean, like my voice doesn't lose out quick enough. I think 3 days will definitely do it. By Sunday, I'll be just eking out enough voice to make it, but I couldn't be more excited to see who's going to take it. We have a brand new region, OCE, getting to bring 2 teams out as well. I'm really excited to see how just metas clash, since they're pretty isolated as far as servers they can play on, so it should be really fun.
We're seeing a lot of league play among these specific regions. It's going to be amazing to be able to see all these regions come together and compete in Rocket League. But that's going to do it for our broadcast today. Thanks for tuning in to twitch.tv/Rocket League, as next week we are going to be concluding league play for North America and Europe. That's at twitch.tv/Rocket League, so make sure you tune in. Also, if you want to tune in to something before then, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, same exact place. But that's going to do it for the broadcast. See you next week.